Most people assume that feeling better takes more effort, more understanding, more processing, more work applied in the right direction. But there's a specific kind of internal labor that rarely gets questioned. A quiet, continuous effort to manage what's happening inside, not thinking exactly, more like supervising. And at some point, without realizing it, that supervising becomes its own weight on top of everything else. What this video is about is simple, even if it doesn't feel that way yet. Sometimes the thing that brings a little relief isn't doing more. It's what happens in the moments when you accidentally do less. You didn't just notice something was off and move on. You stayed with it. You looked at it carefully, maybe more carefully than was comfortable. That takes something most people don't give themselves credit for, a kind of quiet courage that doesn't announce itself. You got further than you probably realize, and that matters, even if it doesn't feel like enough yet. Of course you did. That's what you do when you finally understand something. You try to move it. Maybe you read about it, thought about it, talked about it. Maybe you just carried it more consciously than before, hoping that awareness alone would eventually soften the weight. There's nothing wrong with any of that. It made sense. It still makes sense. You were just trying to take care of yourself the best way you knew how. At some point, the effort becomes another thing to manage. The monitoring, the checking in, the quiet question of whether you're doing enough. It all runs underneath everything else, almost invisible. And somewhere along the way, it becomes genuinely hard to tell what was the original tiredness and what is the fatigue of trying to fix it. Maybe you felt that blurring, the heaviness that doesn't quite lift no matter how much attention you give it. It's okay if that sounds familiar. It means you've been trying very hard for a long time. It probably wasn't a decision. Maybe you were just tired enough that the effort slipped. Maybe something distracted you, or the day moved too fast to keep up with. And in that gap, without meaning to, something loosened. It was quiet, small enough that you might not have noticed it fully, but it was there. A moment where the internal noise stepped back, just slightly, and you were still okay. It felt like a mistake you hadn't been caught making yet, like if you relaxed too fully, something would slip through that you were supposed to be holding. So you picked it back up. The managing, the trying, the effort to stay on top of what you were feeling. Because that at least felt like being responsible, doing something. And the relief, small as it was, didn't feel like something you'd earned, so you let it go. It wasn't an accident you need to explain away. It wasn't luck or numbness or distraction. It was just you, without the extra layer of effort sitting on top, and you were fine in it, not fixed, just fine. That's worth holding for a second, not to turn it into a lesson, but just to let it be what it was, a moment that was already available to you, that has always been available to you. There's nothing still missing. No further understanding that will finally unlock it. No effort you haven't tried yet that will make it click. You've already been there. Briefly, quietly, without meaning to. You've already touched the thing you've been looking for. The relief was never waiting at the end of more work. It was just there, underneath the work, in the small pauses between trying. You were always allowed to stop. You just hadn't heard it said plainly yet. So here it is. You're allowed to stop. Maybe something shifted slightly just from sitting with this, not a resolution, just a small loosening, the kind that doesn't announce itself. You don't need to understand all of it right now. You don't need to take anything from this and immediately do something with it. It's okay to just let it settle without turning it into a next step. You don't have to be further along than you are. You don't have to be better than this, not today, not yet. There are still things that aren't clear about what you're carrying, about where it goes from here. That's allowed to stay unclear for a while longer. Not everything needs to be resolved to be okay. Some things just need a little more room to breathe, and maybe that's enough for now.